Welcome to another episode of Quarantine Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we are talking about Hail Caesar,
which is another Joel and Ethan Coen brother movie that I can't get enough of them.
They're awesome. Everything they do is so funny and bizarre.
Yeah, this is such a quirky take, not only on a period piece of, the 1950s?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah,
Must be
late 40s, early 50s, because the Red Scare is happening in it.
Right.
But it's also just a wonderful parody of Hollywood itself.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Every character in it is essentially just a opposite parody of the actor who's playing them.
Right.
And I love it. It's so good.
It is.
Yeah.
I love the dance number.
With Channing Tatum.
Ugh. Horrifying and hilarious if you listen to the words of that song. Oh my god.
And some of the dance moves in the dance.
Yes. Of like spoilers and stuff.
Oh, right. Spoilers for Hail Caesar, which came out in 2016. So it's actually a relatively new film. I was actually surprised when we put it on the list. I thought we had done this movie, but apparently we didn't.
No.
Yeah, I guess it did come out before we started the podcast. So
yeah,
the podcast was still just a fledgling idea when
I don't
this
even
movie
think it
came
was
out.
an idea yet.
Well, it was. We've been talking about doing a podcast, whether it was a movie podcast or any kind of podcast,
Sure.
but we've been talking about that for the last, 10 years?
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, this movie definitely came out before we even thought about putting motion to creating a podcast, so it makes sense that we didn't do it. But I was just genuinely surprised. I had to actually go through a back catalog of previous episodes and oh, damn, that's right. We haven't done this one.
Yeah, I know. It seems like there are several movies that it seems like we've done that we haven't.
Yeah.
We should start recording some of those.
Definitely. Especially since movies aren't coming out right now, though my hope is rising because they're starting to do the first wave of trailers again. Tenet just came out with a new trailer. It ends with a big old bold screen that says coming to theaters, and that gave me goosebumps because it's oh, I remember those.
Theaters.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this was actually a movie I saw close to, if not on opening day. This was a really highly anticipated film for me. Because you don't get a Coen brother movie that often.
No, you don't. I mean, was this the most recent one?
I believe so. There's one coming out here soon. Well, there was one coming out here soon.
What's the one coming out?
It is called... where is it? It's not on their IMDb. I guess. So they're producing Fargo TV series. They produced the Fargo TV series in 2017, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, I guess, was their most recent one.
Sure.
But that was only one of them directed, the other produced. So, I don't know. I remember seeing it. Let me pull it up real quick. I guess I just saw a rumor mill of it. But apparently it's going to be essentially a modern take on Macbeth that tackles the dark web.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds like such a strange concept that only the Coen brothers could tackle, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Because, I mean, what was it? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou was a take on the Odyssey.
Right.
It's like, there's no way anyone other than the Coen brothers could tackle a Depression era odyssey, you know?
Sure.
I don't know. I love
That's
the
a
Coen
good
brothers.
movie.
Oh, it's such a good movie. I listen to the soundtrack often.
Yeah, same.
Which, the soundtrack in Hail Caesar was not so much iconic and just listenable. No, strike that. Reverse it. It was not so much listenable, but it was incredibly iconic, is what I was trying to say. Is that, like, as soon as the music started playing, you knew what era they were in, and you knew what type of tone the movie was going to be. That gumshoe noir detective style music.
The movie does a really good job of setting itself up immediately.
Definitely.
And it really, I mean, it's not a fast-paced movie. It does sort of meander, but it doesn't feel like it's dragging you along.
No,
it feels well-paced for its slow pace.
Yeah, in its meandering, though, you are introduced to very interesting and eccentric characters that may or may not have anything to do with the plot, you know?
Right.
And so there's never
lots of red herrings, but communism is not one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. That we needed that. Great Clue reference. Love it.
Yes. If you didn't understand that, please refer to our earlier episodes and go watch Clue, for God's sake.
I want to know. So actually, I'll ask this question later. But I just got off a week and a half, 2-week binge watch of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe with my wife.
Great.
And 2 things came out of it. First thing, Captain America Winter Soldier is her favorite movie. And so I know that I married a woman with good taste. And the second thing was that she will now go see new Marvel movies in the theaters with me. She is a Marvel fan now, which is great, an MCU fan. But my take out of this, after having watched it, and then watching this, I love Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
He is such an amazing, subtle actor.
Yeah. Definitely.
I loved him in this. He was such a good guy.
Yeah.
That had to do a dirty job, you know?
I think that's one of the best parts about this movie, because it's very like Hollywood noir, but instead of giving the main character the sort of textbook sleazy dude things to do, he's just like genuinely a really sweet family man.
Yeah. Genuinely interested in his kids.
He's a very good person.
Yeah.
You know, like he opens in a confessional, and that's usually the whole like sign of a bad dude thing in a movie.
Yeah.
A guy who's going to confession is usually not the best dude, but he's just a good Catholic man, it turns out.
Yeah, you know, it opens up with, Father, forgive me for I have sinned. And you're like, okay, where is this leading? It's like, my wife wanted me to quit cigarettes, and I snuck 2, maybe 3 today. And it was like, oh, you're such a sweet man. It's like, and he goes, I'm trying, Father, but it's so hard. And you're just like, oh, man, I have so much sympathy for this man. He is such a good person.
His wife calls him about a little thing about his son's baseball team. He forgets it. Then when he gets home, he thanks her for heating up his dinner, apologizes for being late, and goes, oh my God, I forgot the thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a good guy.
Well, and then him hearing that it actually turned out good because his son actually did like playing the position that he was going to call about. And that's the revelation of like, these things sorted themselves out.
Right.
And it allows him to make the decision later on to stick with the job because these things sort themselves out. And it's just, brilliant movie making, brilliant acting by everyone involved. Scarlett Johansson's my favorite character in this.
She's fun. She's fun. She and Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Are you sure this is good? Are you sure you're serious? I'm bonded, ma'am.
Tilda Swinton, both times. Tilda Swinton plays twins.
As Thora and Thessaly Thacker. I love it.
And, gosh, what's his name? We can never remember it. Aaron Reich.
I have
Alden Aaron Reich.
I have the IMDb up just for him so I can remember his last name.
He's great.
He is so endearing in this. And in reality, he's the main protagonist. He's the one who finds and saves the day.
I think that's what I like so much about this movie. It's gritty Hollywood, but it has just as many good men as it has bad men.
Yeah.
Like, old noir has lots of sleazy men, and that's like it. And this one's like, God, it's sleazy men, of course. It's a story about kidnapping. But then you just have the idiot actor who has never had an idea of his own in his life and is just charmed to death by these communists because he doesn't know better. And you have, like, this really sweet actor who's pulled into a role he doesn't understand and is just trying really hard to do it right. And that's like, he's just a good guy. There are many just good guys in this, which isn't usual for a Hollywood story. Yeah. Usually the point is like, everyone here is garbage. Welcome to Tinseltown.
Yeah.
This is not that movie.
The whole scene between Alden Ehrenreich's Hobie and Ralph Fiennes' Lawrence Lawrence.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is cinematic gold. The whole... Whether that were so simple. Whether that were so simple. Like, it's just that whole back and forth. And then you
was so simple, Ian.
Oh, sorry. Whether that was so simple. And then you finally see the scene in the movie at the premiere, and then it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's just subtle things like that in the writing, where if you blink, you'll miss that joke. Because they spend so much time on the setup of the whether the twere that you think that's the joke. But then the punchline is at the premiere, where it's like, it's complicated. It's just so good.
Yep. Yeah, he really does. He really does end up being the one to piece everything together.
Yeah. And talk
just
about...
Just being a good guy, basically.
Yeah. And talk about what a twist having heartthrob Channing Tatum be a communist sympathizer traitor.
Right.
And the scene where he drops the $100,000 to pick his dog up that jumped. Oh my gosh.
The Coens are great because nothing ever works out in their movies.
Nothing, yeah.
Nothing ever works out. This one has more work out than usual.
Yeah, this normally, like, Coen brother movies have relatively dark and sad endings, for the most part.
Right. No,
This one's actually a really happy ending, at least for everyone, really. For the main, Josh Brolin's character, he realizes his love for the job.
Communist group. The communist people get arrested.
Yeah, but only a good communist.
To go home.
Yeah, a good communist though is a communist behind bars. But that whole scene though, I forget his name, David Krumholtz.
Mm-hmm.
It's parasitism. Parasitism.
Yep.
that whole group, the communist writers,
Mm-hmm.
I love them. It's
They're really
such,
well cast.
yeah, such a great group of just odd people.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, so good. And they kind of do a solid red herring of the person trying to convince Josh Brolin's character Eddie to join Northrop Grumman by showing the nuclear bomb. And
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so there's communists, there's this subplot going on. Okay, so it's going to have a darker undertone of like, espionage and trying to
Sure.
sell, military secrets and stuff like that. Like, no, we're just,
It's just a job. Good job, author.
good old Channing Tatum just wants to go to the fatherland or the motherland. uh, the scene with Scarlett Johansson, her character, when she finishes the water swimming scene,
Yeah,
and
it's synchro.
like the whole time they're trying to get her out of the mermaid suit, like, get this ass off me, like, get it off me, and then she finally is convinced to keep going by Josh Brolin's character being like, and remember, if we do this, the public will see you as innocently as you actually are. Just like, oh, you're right. We should do that. All right, give me my ass back. It's such a not gritty, a trashy character played by such a lovely person. It's just so funny. I love this movie. It's
a good one.
so good. And it's one of those things where if you love movie history and you look into the creation of movies like The Ten Commandments or Ben-Hur, like the Coen brothers do such a great job of bringing out facts or factual ideas of history in the past and just showing how insane they were. Like, the whole, just the hilarious scene with the Orthodox priest, the Catholic priest, the Protestant pastor, and the Jewish rabbi. Like, that's stuff that would happen in old school Hollywood. And it's hilarious, but it's things that would actually happen. I love it. It's so good.
It is. Their dialogue is always on point. They must be really tight with their scripts. Like, they must hold people to the scripts real tight.
Yeah.
Or strictly control improvising, maybe, but it's so stylized throughout that it feels like they must be pretty careful with keeping to the writing.
Well, I think I'm sure they had to kind of strong arm a little bit towards the beginning, but I mean, if you're signing on for a Coen brother, it's well written, and I think people go in knowing like this script is going to be solid, and we're just going to make the movie that the Coen brothers want to make. It's kind of like the Tarantino flicks,
or the
like
Wes Anderson.
Yes, Wes Anderson. Like, just that it's going to be a tight shooting film, but that's kind of why you sign on for it. Like, you're not going in for your creative process. You're going in to be part of their creative process.
Sure.
Yeah, and I don't know.
They must be fun to work with. They have their little pool of returning actors every time also.
And more big name people,
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Got George Clooney pretty early, and that couldn't have hurt.
No, yeah. And all I know coming out of this is that I'm still a Coen brother fan. And I just love Josh Brolin even more. Like
Mm-hmm.
because he started off as a kid actor, right? Or a teenage actor back in the Goonies, right? That's where he
I
started.
think so.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
pull up his
recently.
IMDb.
Do it.
Um,
I'm still on my phone, as you can hear.
yeah. So he's got 74 movies under his belt.
Dang.
Um, his last one that he was in Endgame. He's going to be in the new Dune movie, which is
Sure, I've heard
great.
about that.
Um, oh shit.
Hmm.
He's returning as Thanos in the new Disney Plus What If series, the animated series.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's going to be great.
that's interesting. He's doing an animated series?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what he did for Endgame, you know. I mean,
Sure, but he
he
did
did the
actually.
physical acting, yes,
Right.
but the voice work was in a soundstage or a recording
Right.
studio.
It's just sort of a different game. A lot of actors don't want to do television, forget animated television.
That's true, but I mean, it's Disney
It makes
Plus,
me,
so
well, it makes me think more of him as an actor that he's willing to do
yeah.
kind of whatever. Like
Well,
Mark Hamill. I
no,
like him a lot. He does any job that comes to him. That's good.
yeah. Well, it's like him and who was it? Who was it? There's someone who just it was Darth Vader, James Earl Jones. Like
Uh-huh.
whenever there's a Darth Vader, he's like, "Yeah, if you do a cartoon, do a game, whatever, just let me know. I'll do Darth Vader for you." Like it's just he'll do it. It's because, and I think now that Infinity War and Endgame have come out,
Uh-huh.
like he's kind of become Thanos. You know, that voice is so synonymous with that character now. I don't know. I couldn't. You would have to have someone who could do a good Josh Brolin
Oh, of course,
mock-up
but
voice for it.
I'm
You know,
sure there are 1,000 of those in the voiceover world.
I'm sure, but I'm glad that
Yep,
he's doing it.
it's good. It's cool. I like actors who don't have airs about the sorts of jobs they'll take if they want to take them.
Yeah. So the movie that I watched that first kind of opened my eyes to him, and it's actually one of his newer-ish ones within the last few decades, was Sicario. He was
Didn't see it.
phenomenal. You really?
Yeah.
He was great in Sicario. He's also in No Country for Old Men, so this isn't his first Coen brother movie. That's
I
interesting.
do remember that movie.
I remember watching it when it came out, and it made me feel gross, so I never watched it again. But yeah,
Some of them,
he's in
some of
Sicario,
them
and he's
can
great.
do that.
Was he
Nice.
in Burn After Reading? I wonder.
Was he? I love Burn After Reading. Burn After Reading's one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. Not my favorite, but one of them for sure.
It doesn't look like he was. All right, let's see what his first movie was. Yep, The Goonies in 1985 was his first one.
The Goonies is a good movie.
It was. Holy shit, he was in the original 21 Jump Street show. That's awesome. Oh, Josh Brolin, you're fantastic. What else was he in that I know? Grindhouse, Planet Terror, No Country for Old Men, which we already said. He was in Jonah Hex and True Grit. Oh, he was in the True Grit remake.
Didn't see it.
It was good. I don't remember much about it.
Sure.
Huh. So he was Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy on, uncredited. Interesting. I didn't know that. So every voice that you hear of him, because I think the first Avengers movie, you see him, but you don't hear him.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
that's right.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the first time you actually hear his voice, but he was uncredited for Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron, and then Infinity War was the first one where he was actually credited.
Nice. That must have taken some fancy contract work.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Doom movie coming out. It's in post-production right now. I'm curious how it will be.
It's causing stirs in the costume community.
Really? Why is that?
Because people have noticed that the interior upper thighs of I can't remember what the suits are called, the life suits or whatever the fuck they wear on the desert place. I haven't read or seen Dune in so long. I saw like the Sting one like so long ago and I remember nothing.
The life suits on the planet Arrakis. Desert planet.
The thighs are designed with much space, which is reminding people that they shit in those costumes canonically, and that it was designed in to the movie costumes to have room for them to shit in them.
That's amazing. Yes.
So, while you're watching that movie, just think of Timothée Chalamet shitting himself the whole time.
You know, that's going to make the movie so much better for me.
Good. Glad I could help.
Some pouches are just a little bit more expanded. It's like, I know what that means. Man. This is a good movie. If you haven't seen this movie, if you enjoy quirk, like quirky, this movie has it in spades. It's so good.
It has some fun old-timey Western stuff. It shows a lot of movie tropes from the era.
Yeah.
So you've got like the Western stuff you see a bit of, the old school musical, the like society picture, like fantasy water synchro kind, that weird fantasy genre that was there for a while.
Yeah.
You see a lot of things, and it's a lot of fun.
They even do a callback in the Scarlett Johansson scene of how they would film certain things where they reverse shot her coming out of the water. But it's just, I love it because it looks so... not bad, but it looks very that era of movie, and it's just so masterfully done. So good.
Definitely.
Do you know if the Coen brothers still edit their own movies?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure they do. Let me double check.
Yeah.
So, film editing, by Joel and Ethan Coens.
Dang. They're busy boys.
Yeah, and it makes sense why there's years between movies.
Right.
Because they write, direct, and then edit the movie.
They need a break.
Yeah. And they deserve it.
Writing the next one.
They deserve a break because, their movies are just so finely polished. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Me too.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
No, just if you haven't seen this movie, go see it. If you haven't seen it in a while, go watch it again. It's really fun to watch.
It really is. Yeah, my final thought with this movie is, there are good filmmakers out there, but there's only a few. And of course, this is by taste. Everyone's taste is different. But there are only a few mastercraft directors out there. And I feel that Joel and Ethan Coen are in that very select, high-tier mastercraft directing crowd,
I definitely agree, yeah.
And it's an absolute joy anytime one of their movies comes out, even if it's a darker flick. Because you know it's going to be high quality, you know it's going to be well polished, and you know it's going to be well written.
Yeah.
And I just love every time a new Coen Brothers movie comes out. So yeah, do we want to talk about what we're going to be watching next?
Yeah, we're doing a bit of an odd episode next.
Yeah, we are. But I'm super excited for it.
Haven't done before. And I'm going to introduce the concept with a little bit of background. Over the last month and a half, I decided that I needed to watch all of Star Wars in order, like in universe order. Mm-hmm. including all of the animated TV series. So that's like 108 hours of Star Wars.
No biggie.
I watched it all. Watched it all in about a month and a half. Do recommend, by the way, if you have 108 hours to spare, definitely watch all of Star Wars in order. But the animated series, The Clone Wars, just released its final season. And our next episode is going to be on the last 4 episodes of the final season of The Clone Wars.
Yes, so each season of Clone Wars has a series of arcs where multiple episodes will be essentially one big episode. And the last 4 episodes are called the Siege of Mandalore arc. And I can't wait to review it on this podcast. It's going to be great.
They're available to view on Disney+. If you haven't watched the Clone Wars TV series, you can watch these 4 episodes without it being a problem. They follow the same timeline as Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll understand the events happening if you've seen that movie. They're a fun time. We're going to talk about them next week.
If you haven't watched the Clone Wars, you might want to watch it because there are some characters in it. Yeah, there are some characters in it that will be very confusing if you don't know previous stories. But anyways, that's next episode. We'll go more in depth then. I totally think we should thank our Patreons. So,
yes.
Jenny, Jake, Pam, and Graham, thank you guys so much. You guys rock.
Yes.
You guys make this doable. And if you want to support us, if you haven't become a Patreon, come visit us at patreon.com/casualcinephilia. We have some smaller short-form podcasts on there called The Small Stuff, where we review music videos and movie trailers. So if you want a little bit more of us, I don't know why, but if you do, we're on Patreon. So if you do,
the podcast is available for the $5 and up tier.
Yep. So if you want to support us, please do. That would be so grateful. But for those that already are, Jenny, Jake, Pam, and Graham, you guys rock. Thank you. All right. With that, this has been another episode of Casual Cinephilia. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
We'll be searching high and low on the deck and down below, but it's a crying shame. Oh, we'll see a lot of fish, but we'll never clock a dish. We ain't gonna see a dame. No days.
We might see some octopuses.
No days.
Or a half a dozen clams.
No days.
We might even see a mermaid.
But mermaids got no gam. No gams.
And we got a coil for you. Out there on the sea. Here's how it will be. I'm gonna dance with you, pal. You're gonna dance with me. When we're out there on the sea, we'll be happy as can be. Or so the captain plays.
But we have to disagree, cause the only guarantee is I'll see a lot of you and you'll see a lot of me.